Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today, talking all about the main event of NXT TakeOver. That's going to be happening over there in England. I guess it's in NXT TakeOver London, I guess is what this is called. But Samoa Joe going up against Finn Bálor, your NXT champion. And honestly, when everyone was talking about why WWE was, waiting to put the title on Roman Reigns, the guy that I kept thinking of was Finn Bálor, and the way that Triple H treated this guy like he was something special. Did Finn Balor win the NXT Championship in his first defense? Most people will say yes, but honestly, no. On an episode of NXT, I believe it was the NXT before WrestleMania 31. It might have even been the weekend of WrestleMania 31. The day that we got there, I think that we were actually driving to San Francisco to check out the Bay Bridge. Miguel was trying to watch it on his phone as NXT was on, and we weren't able to get a connection, and then we weren't able to get an internet connection for the Apple TV inside of the hotel room, so we weren't able to watch it there. But that was the first time that Finn Balor went up against uh, Kevin Owens, and he wasn't able to get the win there. But why you would keep the belt off of somebody that you definitely knew was the main guy. Finn Balor has been awesome for NXT. Everybody knows about this guy because of the dragon paint, but if you watch this guy when he wrestles in his normal matches, this guy is good. He is really good, and someday he's going to be able to be brought up to the main roster and be a stud once he's there. But this is putting together two very special people in one match. Samoa Joe came into NXT from TNA, and he was everybody thought that he was just sort of brought there to be a name, and people are sort of tearing whether to bring Samoa Joe up to the main roster because of the injuries to Randy Orton and to Seth Rollins. Definitely Samoa Joe would be an asset to be there, and people say that there's stink on this guy because he wrestled in TNA for so long, and if they're not going to bring up Samoa Joe to the main roster, he is a treat to watch on these NXT specials, as well as watching the regular episodes of NXT. Everything that Joe has done has been special. Whether if it's him, having the big match against Kevin Owens, him having the stare down against Kevin Owens, seeing Samoa Joe wrestle in just normal singles matches against guys on the NXT roster, him wrestling in tag team matches when Finn Balor during the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Invitational. Everything has been really awesome. I don't know if they're going to do another Dusty Rhodes Invitational, or if that was just a way to set up the breakup of Finn Balor and Samoa Joe as friends. Everything Joe has done has been to say that he wants to be the champion. Joe is undefeated in NXT. He hasn't lost yet, much like when he came into TNA. And, everything he's done, he's said that he wanted a title shot. He wanted a title shot. And basically, he's been turned away in every way, whether if that's because of the connection to TNA, or whether, people just have cast Joe aside. But Joe busted up a big match, which was Finn Balor going up against Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews won the Battle Royal to become the #1 contender. Samoa Joe took exception that somebody was going to be able to get a shot before he did. So he came in, busted up the match, and then also busted up Finn Balor to put him on notice, basically, of saying that he wanted to be the champion. He wanted a title shot, and I don't know if it was so much they weren't friends anymore, but he was just putting him on notice that he thought he was a better wrestler and that he could beat him inside of the ring. Finn Balor is a guy that hasn't stepped down from any competition from anybody. He's a fighting champion, and he'll fight anybody. And I think he feels disrespected by Samoa Joe. If he wanted a title shot, all he had to do was ask, and I'm sure that it would have been given to him. Finn Balor has made some mistakes. We've seen Finn Balor get laid out by a muscle buster. We've also seen Finn Balor get choked out with the Kinkoya clutch. I don't think that we've seen Finn Balor hit any big offense on Samoa Joe yet. I think it's just trying to feel bad for the champion. I don't know which way to go on this. I think that honestly this is going to be a really good match with it coming down to Finn Balor winning, beating Samoa Joe, and then maybe not Samoa Joe being a heel anymore, but sort of being portrayed as a guy that Finn Balor earned his respect. He thought that he could beat this guy, but Finn Balor's better than he thought he was. Everything is kind of weird because of everybody thinking that, once you're champion, once you lose your championship, you're being brought up to the main roster. So that everyone thinks that if Finn Balor loses to Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe has become champion. Everyone's going to be saying that Finn Balor is going to be debuting in the Royal Rumble, because the Royal Rumble is right up around the corner. I also think that Finn Balor is in NXT for the long haul. I think he is going to be staying there for as long as they need him. I think that he is a good asset to NXT. He's the guy that you can put on the poster that everyone knows is possibly one of the best wrestlers in the world, and people will pay to see this guy. So I'm taking Finn Balor to get the win. How about you guys? I'm looking forward to this NXT special. It's going down tonight. It's going to be starting at 3 o'clock, I believe, where I live. If not, I'm going to be early or I might be late. But check you guys down the road.